Hey, welcome back everybody. I'm Lou, and this is Metal Lens Reviews. What's up? So, if this happens to be your first time here, checking out my channel, like what you see, thank you. Please do me that favor of like, comment, subscribe. As I mentioned before, it really helps me grow the channel, spread it to the masses, and of course motivates me to provide you guys more content and stuff to watch. So, what are we doing here? So I was on this little K-pop journey. I did two. Yeah, that was a hell of a journey. This group, SixTONES, the IX being silent here, this group name, they're actually Japanese. This is JPOP, and technically, if you count Baby Metal and Band-Aid, I did, because they're kind of, even though they're metal-ish and rock-oriented, they still fall under that JPOP category. Well, I wanted to hear, just JPOP kind of more organic and natural itself. So SixTONES being the popular, I guess, upcoming. I never heard of them, so I don't know how relevant and recent they are. But they did, they got an incredible amount of views, and they come up in a lot of searches. So this is as random as it gets. KOKKARA, I want to say, is the song. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. KOKKARA, KOKKARA. I could be messing that up. So forgive me on that. Anyway, this should be interesting. It's a male group, and obviously you think of J-pop or K-pop, think of it as like their interpretation of Backstreet Boys, NSYNC, those kind of lines. So I'm curious. Like I said, I'm familiar with J-pop or Japanese groups in general, but this being more of the playful pop oriented style. Yeah, let's give it a try. Alright, once again, this is SixTONES with KOKKARA. Hope I'm pronouncing that right. And yeah, this is what I would assume some of Japan's finest J-pop. Am I wrong? You guys be the judge. Alright, let's do this. Okay, so right off the bat, I'll give them credit for kind of not, and this is just one song, I don't know too much about them, but kind of staying away from that typical, so the format's pretty familiar, smooth appeal, getting off the sexy vibes, very, attractive to a lot of female-oriented fans, obviously. I'm sure their fan base, gives credit to that. But yeah, it's a little funky, a little blues. Yes, the trope of the hip-hop, the smooth over pop vocals, vibrant, active, really urban kind of environment for Japan anyway. Yeah, that's all there. But I like the little funkiness they're adding. It kind of a Red Hot Chili Peppers kind of feel, and just funk, bluesy, jazzy kind of mix going on. I guess I really say bluesy, more of a jazzy kind of all over the place feel. That's cool. And like I said, this is probably such a competitive market. There's millions of insert country here pop bands, K-pop, J-pop. I'm sure China has their fair share, which is probably interesting. But yeah, this is it's different enough to stand out in a massive list of these kind of groups, and it keeps getting bigger. All right, let's keep going.
簡単休まれなさいなんか一人になりたくても人をだらけさらけ出すにも人を苦労なわけ聞かれたくないセレブピーポーでもここに立ってピコピコピーポー
Alright, so this I like, okay? Not a fan, but I can appreciate the little hints of differences here. So, like, it's, as I mentioned before, it has a kind of like a musician quality to it. Like, it's not just samples and, you know, DJ spinning something or whatever, you know, in the studio. Pro Tools-ing it up. This is actually, like, I guess, I would assume maybe like a band. Maybe is in the background. Like I said, I've never seen any videos of them live as opposed to the other famous pop groups. I wonder if they travel with the band or bands in the background. I don't know. And it's not as the singing isn't as flamboyant. It's you know, they keep it right. It's not too, you know, masculine, kind of a bellow, deep voice, but not too high pitch either. You know, it's like somewhere kind of in between. You know, the style's there. That sleek, elegant, you know, fiery kind of style. Like I said, and it's just some different vibes going with this. Like I said, what saves it from falling into that slew of other, you know, J-pop or K-pop type groups is this funk kind of bassy style, and I think that helps it kind of stand out from the bunch. So I wonder if that's why Stones is, you know, like where they're at right now because of the differences they apply to the music, you know. Because other than that, it's not, I don't want to say copy and paste, because every group has their own style, but, you know, for what it's worth, I think that's good mentioning that they have differences, you know, that makes them stand out, and that's always a good thing. Let's keep going. I love the scenery of Japan. I mean, South Korea is fine. It's a beautiful place. But something about Japan always captivates me a little bit more. And I think it's because of not just my love for Japanese culture. I'm not a poser or nothing. I don't have, you know, anime posters on my wall. Well, I grew up, you know, like in Japanese monster movies. Godzilla, for example. And I don't care how old I get. I'll always like that, you know, the G-Man. I don't know. I guess it's some of the cuisine too. The Japanese cuisine is just, I don't know, it stands out. I don't know, it's different. You can recognize it more than, you know, anything else, I think. I'm talking about food. I'm trying to do a reaction here. Sorry. I don't know why. I just got off on a rant there. But no, like I said, I think the reason why this group is popular or rising, I'm not, like I said, I don't know how old they are, or recent, or relevant, if they're still popular, is that funk style that kind of just, you know, it's a little more jazzy. They're separated from just the vibrant, poppy, bubblegum kind of pop music that we're used to hearing when it comes to, I guess, other J-pop groups or K-pop groups. This, you know, at least has kind of an edge. It's a soft edge, but, you know, just to, you know, in like I said, a room full of copycats, you gotta kind of, you know, separate as much as possible while still being, you know, faithful, I guess, to the genre. And that's what I'm seeing here. You know, they check all the boxes. It's just that little bit of differences there, and I think that's important. And yeah, probably got them where they're at today. That and the multitude of fans, obviously. All right, got a little bit left. Let's bring this to the end, and I'll let you guys know my final thoughts.
Let it
That was energetic. That to me, that wasn't just like trying to be a bunch of pretty boys, more like a bunch of friends hanging out. And I think there's an ongoing battle to see what flamboyant outfit or fit that they're going to wear when it comes to the J-pop and K-pop crew, because everyone just seems to top each other. And the crazy fever dream style. Yeah, wild, man. But yeah, that was. It was different. It was different enough. I was interested. I didn't lose too much, of concentration there. Like I said, it stood out, I think, because it had that factor, that jazzy, that funk style they would hear, like in the Red Hot Chili Peppers, It just, kind of refreshing, because it's really hard to, nitpick something, familiar enough, You tend to, reuse the same wording or descriptions, and I try to separate myself from that and be as different and organic as possible. But I give my true statement here. Like I said, this was a very, very random pick. I could have picked anybody. Probably could have picked an older J-pop band, but I picked them because it just, I don't know, they just when you see something stands out to you. You gotta listen to your gut feeling, your intuition. That's what I did here. So I hope I picked good. You guys let me know. Is there a J-pop you guys might like? If there's anything you want to suggest or recommend, and you want to kind of jump ahead of the line, because I get a lot of written requests, But if you really want to stand out and get my attention, I'll leave a link down below called Buy Me a Coffee, and you can always do it through that. Or if you feel like contributing at all to the channel, no pressure. Other than that, that was Stones with KOKKARA. Once again, hope I'm saying that right. But yeah, a little funky J-pop mix. It was different enough to, I guess stand out from the multitude of other pop bands. Yeah, interesting. Alright guys, thanks for listening. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. And as always, my friends, I'll see you all very, very soon. Peace.